The following show and its content are the responsibility of the show's producers and participants.
Information related in this program is not meant to substitute medical recommendations. Before starting a treatment program, you should consult your physician.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
That's right. Welcome to the couch, live here on the WPSN, the Problem Solving Network, WPSN99.com. Hello, everybody. My voice sounds a little nasally because I'm a little sick there, Trinity and Robbie. So, anyway.
Breathe on us.
Yeah, I'm not breathing on you. I just finally caught a little bug of something.
Literally like 12 hours ago, you were fine.
Well, you know, I must have had to go to school today or something. You know, I'm trying to get off.
Sure.
I don't know. I have the street certified dope Dr. Louis Delgado along here with you, along with my cast of friends. So let me show them to you if you're going to watch this on YouTube channel. There they are. It's Trinity, the Dharma Guy Phillips.
Hey, what's up?
And then Robbie, the Grasshopper Barrett.
What's up, guys? Glad to be back.
Look at Robbie he's all in...
he's all now matters more out.
He's all in the right clothing.
I couldn't figure out which one of my 3 hats I wanted to wear, but...
Look at that.
Choose the one I haven't worn yet.
He's sporting all the hats now, Trinity.
I like it.
I like it, too.
Hold on, I can sport mine. Hold on.
Yeah. You're always wearing yours. Oh, you didn't have it on? What was that about?
There we go. Now I'm sporting the hat.
Now you got the hat on. Now you're official.
I am.
Now you're official. All right. So anyway, like I said, here we are on the Couch Live. This is a show that focuses on addiction and recovery and all things in between. Just want to do a little bit of stuff to let you know. First, we are able to go a full hour here on the Couch Live on radio and on the YouTube channel, all because of great sponsors. And number one, Journey Pure. Journey Pure is fantastic of a partner in our business, but also whenever you have a referral, you need to send somebody to addiction treatment. Let me tell you something, Trinity. They've been making it so easy for me. Because they're all over the place. They're in Kentucky, they're in Tennessee, they're in Florida.
Right.
They have connections all over the country. If they can't help you, they have other people that can, and they communicate back with us very well. Not only as foundations or as individuals referring.
And they show up in studio and hang out in Dharma time.
You know what?
So there's that.
Jamie Vance was. Yeah, did you know that, Robbie? Jamie Vance. What is his position exactly over there?
Something marketing, something or other.
He's the chief marketing officer.
There you go.
See, I just had to test him.
Nice.
The chief
I care
marketing
more about
officer,
the person than I do the title.
You know what? That's actually very Dharma Guy-ish of you.
I would hope so.
That's your title, right? So his title is Chief Marketing Officer, is Jamie Vance, and when he came by to say hi on Tuesday, it just so happened that we didn't know how Dharma he actually was.
Yeah. I'm still in shock, just to be honest with you.
Right.
I'm still in shock that he guessed Vipassana out of everything else. Most people have never even heard of that word. And he immediately was like, oh, Vipassana?
Robbie, I've heard the word like 16 times now since that day.
What does it mean?
Brother, I can't even say
transformation through self-observation.
That right
there. You go, baby.
Robbie,
it's not really that important.
Yeah,
it's not that important.
I can't even say the word yet.
What makes it important is the fact that nobody knows it, and he did. And it kind of blew me away because I had no clue that he was, well-versed in the Buddhist philosophy.
Right,
nice.
Right. He threw out information, Robbie, like an FBI agent throws out information like they know something already. Mm-hmm. So it's like they already know what you're going to answer. That's what he was doing with Trinity. He was throwing out these terms like Vipassana. And
he pronounced it another way. I don't remember how.
Yeah, he had a couple of different pronunciations of some of the words that Trinity says. But when he said it, it was almost like telling Trinity, I know.
Yeah.
Therefore I am. Kind of.
Well, what I liked about it
was like that, right?
What I liked, and I was talking to Graham about it yesterday at the NASCAR thing.
Graham Barrett, which is the representative here in Orlando.
We were we were just kind of having a side discussion. He was telling me that Jamie had a good time on the show and whatnot.
Right.
And he was saying, "Oh yeah, I guess apparently he hired Graham, So Graham, of course, is very biased in liking him.
Yeah.
And he was just, I told him, I was like, he just gets it. He's like, yeah, you know what? He does. He just gets it. And yeah, through talking to him, if you guys catch the show, which will be up hopefully tonight, on YouTube, as well as on WPSN rerunning at, what is it, 1, 5, and 9, I believe.
Right.
But he gets it. Just talking to him.
He does.
He gets the concept,
Big time.
which is awesome because I'm not used to interacting with individuals who get it. I'm used to interacting with people who are coming to me to get it. Like I'm trying to educate them or help them see. So to talk to somebody who already gets it and kind of have that kind of bond there, it was interesting. It was really cool. It was a very cool surprise. And he's a good sport too. I mean, he came in and we were just like, hey, why don't you jump on air real quick? And he jumped right at it. So
yeah, we keep meeting people, Robbie, in the last couple of weeks that are kind of like a mixture between Trinity and I. So if Trinity and I would have a baby, we keep meeting people like that. Isn't that kind of scary?
That's got a weird mental image.
That's just weird just to even say. And then
what's even weird is you took it to the mental image.
Why I didn't take it to the mental image, Robbie.
Stop picturing that, bro.
Yeah, stop right now.
I can't.
Just go right to the baby and forget all the baby making part.
Yes, please.
All right? I wasn't thinking about that. I was just
I don't know what you were thinking. I'm just guarding you from being
we're gonna protect you from yourself right now.
From bruised for life. You're gonna be damaged, and we're gonna have to send you to treatment just for your mental images.
Oh gosh.
But no, what I'm saying is, first at the Elon recovery thing, we met a guy that said he was the dope doctor and the Dharma guy rolled up in one, and he kind of was.
Wow. Dr. Richard Seeley.
There you go. Yeah, which he was, and then now Jamie Vance, which just so happened to be, he has a great story. Plus, he's Dharma-ish. So another guy that actually, could say that he's our child, Trinity.
That's right.
He's our child.
Next time I see him, I'm like, hey, you're welcome.
You're welcome. Just call me Daddy.
You're welcome for your life.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just there you go. All right. So that's that. The other treatment center that's a major sponsor for us is Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers, and they have programs in Pennsylvania and Florida. And again, they make it easy because they're a network with some people. And sometimes when you have that in-network partner, it makes it a hell of a lot easier, especially if you're carrying around one of them. Well, I'm not even going to say the insurance company. Because then I don't want the problem.
Sued by somebody.
Yeah. But anyway, certain insurance plans just are real difficult to match a person up with. They walk around feeling like, hey, I got insurance. And then you find out, but who takes it? Well, sometimes Retreat does. And you're in this situation where you don't. It's not a Florida model. So you're at treatment. You're not going back and forth. Exposed to the elements in whatever city they're in. What were you gonna say, Trinity?
I was just saying they get it too. Retreat gets it. I haven't spoken to them about that particular philosophy, but
we're gonna have to test them on that.
We are gonna have to test them.
Yeah.
But what I like about them is they get it as far as just helping people in the business, man. Like. Garofalo, what is it? Garofalo, right?
Garofalo.
Thank you. I keep thinking Gina Garofalo. But
I don't even know.
It's a comedian, man. I think she's more like a political person.
You call that a comedian?
Anyways, Tom Garofalo.
Like an MTV personality. He's called a comedian.
You don't ever heard of? Sam,
I have. No,
okay. He Tom Garofalo when he was on on the show, and even the Peter guy. Is it Peter? I want to make sure I got that right now. I'm messing up names today. Shore?
Peter Shore.
Okay, good.
You did pretty good.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So, but talking to them, they understand the concept of helping people. They're in it for the right reasons.
Correct.
They hate the same people we hate as far as, the people who are destroying this business and preying on people. So, yeah, man, I like them both. They're very, very awesome. And I'm looking forward to seeing them all again at this the tournament on March 19th at the Aliquot.
Oh, check him out, Robbie. He's just going right into it. Yeah, and segue away all you want because one of our other sponsors, and we call them a sponsor, but they don't put any money in. They're just a sponsor because we love them so much. The Now Matters More Foundation. And why do we love them? Because Trinity's the president and I'm the founder. Of course we love them.
Mm-hmm. And Robbie here's wearing our gear.
Yeah, Robbie's wearing all our stuff.
That's a great shirt, by the way. I like that.
Yeah, so if you're out there and you're listening and you want to help a good cause that all the money goes to scholarship. Matter of fact, that's what my phone's blowing up right now for a scholarship request right now. Let me tell you something here. What we really like is for treatment centers to scholarship beds, and then we'll put them in there. And what we also like is those people that are sitting on the fence just for a few dollars. Then we'll help them out. But we need partners like you, those of you that are watching, listening, and all that stuff, to help us. Because if without your money, then we can't pay for these people that are calling up and wanting help. And sometimes it's and when I say pennies, what's pennies to some of you is not pennies to them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Whether it be $50, $100, $500, $1,000, $2,500. To some people, that's a little extra, but to these people, it's a matter between getting into treatment or not. So
Yeah, well, the other thing too is for those of you who maybe are struggling financially and can't afford to donate,
Right.
you can still help by sharing some of our stuff, liking it, making sure people know we exist. Because in addition to scholarship and treatment and vetting facilities, the other thing we do is advocacy, man. Talking about it, trying to get people to understand it, trying to break down the stigma a little bit, and we can't do that by ourselves. We need a lot of help with that.
yeah, silencing that puppy.
The more conversation, the more dialogue that is created, the more likely we are to break that stigma finally.
Right. Yep.
Message.
Yep. I'm done. We're done. We did our job.
There you
Time
go.
to go home.
See you next week.
See you next week. All right. So we've had a pretty busy week, Trinity. Doing all
man.
kinds of things.
It's not even done yet.
No.
We still got tonight and tomorrow.
And you know what's weird, Trinity, is I thought today was Tuesday.
I know. Because I was telling you I was getting ready to leave. Like, oh, so early? I'm like, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. First of all, I thought, you know why? Because I thought Valentine's Day was the weekend.
Wow.
Because I took Dana out,
Right.
so that just threw me all off. Because by going out, that just signifies it must be a weekend, right? It just felt like it. So I took her out,
But you do take her out not on just weekends, though. I've seen you out with her weekdays.
Okay,
Matter of fact, you were just out with her yesterday morning.
that's right. That's what also felt like a weekend.
Yesterday did kind of feel
It felt like
a weekend.
family days. What I'm
Yeah.
saying, my family days, where I'm not working, but
Right.
it just typically weekends are family days.
And for those of you who don't know, I'm referencing the NASCAR diversity
Oh my
Drive to
God, that was
Diversity
pretty,
Awards.
yeah, that was
event.
awesome.
Yeah, man, it was really cool.
Yeah.
It was cool to see.
Right.
I had no clue that NASCAR was spending that much time and effort in diversity. I really didn't know that.
Right.
It's
It's because we're taking over, Trinity. So if you don't start getting us into it now, what's going to happen when all the white people are gone?
Yeah. Well, I mean, once again,
Because
first
you
of all-
guys are going away. That's what's happening.
Well, I'm not a huge NASCAR fan. I'm not into that world just yet, and so I think of the stereotypical, woohoo, white redneck man.
There's nothing wrong with them, by the way.
Nothing wrong with them.
I happen to like them white rednecks.
But that's what I typically think of when I think of NASCAR.
Right.
And so it was cool. To be honest
Why
with
is
you.
that bad, by the way?
Was what bad?
That is true, right? That's what people think when they think NASCAR. But
Associate like Alabama and
yeah, like
Wow, I didn't go that far, man.
well, I mean, like,
Talladega is in Alabama.
well, speak to us, Robbie. You're a white guy. Tell us why is that bad?
Yeah, you're white. Speak for all white people.
Speak about white people. I'm gonna have you do what they do to me without acting like they're doing it to me.
Why is it bad that we associate NASCAR with white people?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know.
Look at that
enough
face.
about-
Even that face says it all, right? Because even white people separate themselves. Well, it's not all white people,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I don't really know why it's a bad thing. I don't really know about much of the demographic of NASCAR drivers.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
very
been a
educated.
southern thing typically.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm going to say, and this is where
That's how
here's
started
here's
with the bootlegging.
Here's a lead into your next show. Compassion.
Oh, there we go.
Right?
Look at
Because
that.
it's important to have that sort of compassion, and I'm referencing Trinity's show for those of you that don't know. Dharma Time is a show here on the network as well. Airing when, Trinity?
Tuesdays live at 1:00 p.m. Eastern time.
He got in his marketing voice when he said that. He said Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. Tune in.
But anyway, I mean, your next show's on compassion, right? Isn't that?
It is.
Isn't that
You
so?
heard it here first.
Then I heard it here first, and so did they. And so the point is that I don't take issue with that. I mean, it's fine if there's certain things that one demographic tends to like over another, but it does then create a negative stigma on the thing, and the stigma is that it's a bunch of idiots, going to watch, a bunch of beer drinking idiots that go watch these races, and I think so. By the way, I think there's beer drinking idiots in any sport, in every sport,
Of course.
and that's fine. We need those beer drinking idiots. I think they make some events pretty fun, but it's a family event and it's a very inclusive event, and I think that's what people don't really understand is that NASCAR is a very inclusive, fun atmosphere. And if you've never taken your family to a NASCAR event, I would strongly encourage you to do so you can see just how inclusive and how diverse it really is, because I have never, in all the years I've been going to NASCAR events, I have never felt excluded or racially profiled in a negative way at all. Now, mind you, I'm a lighter skin. If I don't tell you I'm Mexican, you don't know, or if I don't say I'm Spanish, typically you don't know. However, even the jokes that you would hear from people that act like they don't know, and then they say insensitive things, I don't hear them.
Right.
It's a very inclusive, very family atmosphere, and the Drive for Diversity Awards were fantastic. Jesse Iwuji, for the second time in a row, our friend Jesse Iwuji got the Diversity Driver Award.
Nice.
He did.
Second year in a row.
Well
No,
deserving
that's
of it.
never happened.
He was
a great
an
ambassador, though.
ex-football player, right?
Yeah,
for Navy.
well, for Navy, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's really cool. So anyway, let's move forward. And we heard some history yesterday too, right? We were talking to an ex-driver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so we're hearing some history of how Miller gotten involved and
Greg
the
Sachs,
Bearded
I
Greg
believe it was,
Sachs.
right? He was
Greg
awesome,
Sachs.
man.
Greg Sachs is awesome. Greg Sachs used to be a NASCAR driver, and so we spent a
Long
little time with
time
him.
ago.
And
Like 30 years he's been in the business, right?
Yeah, he's been in there for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah, but his last drive I think was in 2010, which is only
Something
8 years
like
ago.
that,
Yeah. So anyway, it was a great time. So anyway, let's move forward, and you got us some things in the news that you found, Trinity.
Yeah, well, before we get to that, I do
Okay.
want to say that Lemon Squeeze show this weekend.
Oh, well,
Saturday.
Well, we're going to start promoting what's going to happen. We got a lot of things happening.
We do, but hey, there are sisters. Dude.
Okay,
we
all right, go
got
ahead.
to look out for them.
Promote
They're
away.
awesome.
Promote. That's tomorrow.
It is. Oh my God! See, I forgot that it was tomorrow. I was thinking Saturday, and oh my God, Saturday's tomorrow.
It's the weekend.
Anyways, so Black AIDS Day tomorrow. It's I don't have the paper in front of me.
Let's see how inclusive that is.
Here we go.
It's called Black AIDS Day.
Yeah, National.
It's going to be very interesting. We're going to an event that says Black AIDS Day.
So National Black AIDS Day, HIV Awareness Day is tomorrow. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Holden Heights Community Center at 1201 20th Street, Orlando, Florida, 32805.
Yeah.
Lemon Squeeze Show will be there doing their thing. Constance B is going to be a guest speaker there to talk about her experience with AIDS, and I'll let her finish that story.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be there. Of course, hanging out and getting people on the show and just pumping them up a little bit. So if you're local, by all means, stop by and say hi, man. We'd like to hear from you.
And feel free that don't let the Black AIDS Day scare you.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it should be inclusive as well.
When can we just call it AIDS Day?
Well, I think
AIDS Day?
I think that with certain minority groups, I think that when they put that little word on it,
Sure.
it just allows their crowd to come out a little bit more. And when those words aren't on it at the beginning, I think they tend to feel like they're not going to be as populated at that event, so they don't go.
Well, I will say...
So it allows them a comfort level to say, hey, this is for you.
Sure.
Feel comfortable. You're not going to come out and be judged. Come out.
Well, statistically speaking, that demographic is being hit hard right now with HIV and AIDS.
It's one of the demographics that are on the rise in that particular problem.
By all means. And if you're not there just to listen to us,
Right.
come out and get tested. Know your numbers, man.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Are you going to get tested?
I can. I wasn't planning on it, but...
Okay, so stay tuned because live on the air on the Lemon Squeeze. Trinity's
show
we're going to get.
The show might be a little bit different on Tuesday, depending on the results.
God.
They better be good.
It's going to be on acceptance.
That would. Oh my
wow.
God! Oh,
Wow. Angel, dear, he's talking about you right now because it ain't about me, brother.
Oh my God! Let's please.
Oh my
please.
God.
That's not even.
I get to go home to
That's
that
not
now.
funny.
Thanks.
No, listen, that was a good joke, but look, the important thing is everybody should be tested.
Yeah. Know your
Everyone
numbers.
should be tested. Everybody, well, you're talking about calories.
No.
Whenever you say know your numbers, usually I think you're talking about like
I usually
carbohydrates.
am, but isn't that the thing? As we get older, we're supposed to know our numbers, our blood pressure, our
those numbers,
yeah.
yes.
And your STD,
Yeah.
plus or minus, I guess.
It's the one thing I'm getting better at that apparently it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
My numbers are getting higher, but apparently that's not a good thing. That and weight, your numbers get higher, your age, all those numbers get higher. It's like, no, you're supposed to do
And then
that.
where are we going to be today after here?
Daryl Strawberries, we're going to, I forget the name of the actual facility, brand new hospital opening up under the Oglethorpe Group. Oglethorpe Group is opening a new hospital. Daryl Strawberry will be out there, our friend,
That's in
Daryl.
St. Cloud, I believe, right?
Yeah, we're going all the way to St. Cloud after this, Trinity, and we're going to go for the grand opening of that hospital.
Nice.
Again, it's part of the Oglethorpe Group. John Picciano will be out there. Daryl will be out there signing, I think he's signing his book, maybe some bats and balls as well.
Right on.
So, I wish I had the name of the hospital right in the top of my head, and your phone is being used over there for Facebook Live, so you can't look at it.
I cannot.
My phone's right here, but I'm a little lazy right now. But we'll tell you all about it next time. I mean, we'll post something. All right, so let's get on with the show then, because I'm eager to find out about some of this stuff that you guys have been researching. You guys come up with all kinds of nice little research. Here's the good thing about having some co-hosts on the show. These guys, they start sending me this information that I haven't even heard about. There's some new laws, new rules, new activity going on in the United States in relation to this space of addiction treatment. And I'm eager to hear what you guys have come up with, and we got to start talking about it. So which one of you is going to go first and start talking about this deal?
I'll say I find a lot of these things mainly just on my feed or
okay, wait, let me correct that. I'm sorry. It's not both of them. It's actually Trinity. Trinity's the one that finds them, and then just Robbie just piggybacks.
No, Robbie's always coming with good stuff.
I'm kidding.
But no, I usually find a lot of this stuff either on my feed or like I watch.
You like that Vice News?
I do. I wasn't going to promote him, but yeah, Vice News.
You say it all the time.
Yeah. So I just see some stories, and what I like about it is it's in the news. It's out there. People are discussing it, and it is coming out.
Yeah.
However, some of the stuff that they are discussing, I find interesting. Some things I agree with. Some things I'm not sure if I agree with.
All right, so let's get into it. Give us one, because you had
Robbie,
top three. I want to talk about these top three.
Yeah. So I'll go in chronological order of what I was told.
Yeah.
And the first one is Norway is the first Scandinavian country to decriminalize all drug use, and this kind of piggybacks on, I think it was in 2000, Portugal did the same thing. And
they're the model. I think everybody looks to them and tries to duplicate the success that they claim to have had.
Yeah, and I think the number.
I say claimed only because I think there's some reports out there that say that it's not quite as successful as they promote it. Other people say that it is, and there's just otherwise it's not a clear-cut definitive win, right? Isn't that what you told me? I believe.
Well, I mean, the way I'm looking at it is, we know we have a free press, and so our only reference point of
fake news.
Our only reference point of news and the way we distribute news and the way we promote what's happening in the United States is that we have a free press system, and we all know that there's a faction of people here in our country that love to promote the negative of this country.
Yes.
It seems like they are so in their little fights with each other. We always have a left and a right side here in our country, Trinity.
Yes.
So there's always this battle between the left and the right side.
Yes.
And therefore, the worst comes out, and they like to talk about all the negative about us. But I don't seem to get that when we watch the news of other countries or hear news from other countries. I tend to just hear like one message,
right?
And how are we supposed to know how true that message is? That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
Because when I was in college and we were studying a lot of the history of psychology, we came to find out that a lot of early studies and research were actually lies and made up. So we couldn't really believe them because
Right.
they were being done. Everybody wanted to be first about certain things, and certain countries were misrepresenting their findings. So I always hesitate when I hear drug result findings. I mean, we all know there's a lot of money in this business.
Well, the other thing I know about
in the pharmaceutical industry, in the drug dealing industry,
Sure.
in the drug trafficking industry, there's so much money involved. Even in the treatment industry, that how can you rely on numbers, you know what I mean, from other countries as well as, when we can't even rely on numbers here.
Well, the thing that I always, when it comes to drug use,
Right.
in general,
Right.
anytime a study comes out of drug use,
Right.
I'm always curious because oftentimes it relies on self-reporting.
A lot.
And,
Yeah.
you're relying on a lot, of some honesty from some people.
And how the question is asked.
Yeah,
You're never seeing how the question was asked. You're always seeing the way it was answered.
Well, that's the age-old debate, right? Is I can make a poll say whatever I want. Depends on who
100%.
I ask it to and what I ask.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So, but anyway, the thing you were saying was Norway is going into the decriminalizing. I think is
So that should be a fact then.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's a fact.
Decriminalizing,
Yeah, that's a fact.
them decriminalizing it should be a fact. Now, why did they do that? Do we know why they did that? Why they went so aggressively in that direction? Were they having some
The
sort
Portugal
of problem?
model.
No, were they themselves? Was Norway having such a drug problem?
Yes.
Opioid problems, yep.
Yeah.
Per
Do you know
capita,
anything
they
of
were
that? Can we
pretty
talk
high.
about any of that? Is it similar to ours?
It is similar. I don't think it's as drastic, but
Well, per capita, it was a lot.
yeah.
Per capita,
Yeah.
all right.
So the number wasn't
because
that
this
big.
is a world issue,
Yeah.
which people tend to forget. They think it's just the United States. Look, the opioid epidemic is a world issue because as soon as they can figure out this is really good here, trust me, why not capitalize in other places? Any place that has money distributing can have this issue.
Yeah, but their number itself was probably about half of what we lose in a day, or ours is half of what they lose.
Right.
In other words, their year number was basically double what we lose in one day.
Wow.
But per capita, they don't have anywhere near the amount of people we have in our state. So the number looked kind of small, but when you
Yeah.
look at the per capita, it was is a pretty large percentage of the population.
Yeah, in 2014, 266 people died from drug-related deaths.
Yeah,
Right.
and we lose 175 a day.
So we look at that number and we go, God, we have that many people that die of splinters here in the United States, right?
Yeah.
But
we also have,
per
what,
capita,
300 some million? And
Yeah.
they have, like, I think
Right.
3 million or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. So that's significant.
it is.
Okay, so you could throw some zeros on that, and then you said something pretty interesting because we have how many people? Do you know how many people we have? I don't.
I mean, I think
How
it's
many people are in
300
the United States?
I think it's 300 some million. Last I
Wow.
checked.
And how many people are in Norway for real?
3 million, I believe.
For real?
I believe that's what the numbers are. Last time I
So
looked
two
this up.
zeros.
I'm on it.
There
All right, so if we had two zeros to
5.23 million.
there you go.
okay, so just 2 zeros or one was a little half zero, but so let's add 2 zeros to that. 253, you said? So that's 25,000.
No, 5 million.
5 million, then 233,000.
No, 233. So it'd be like 233,000. Or let's cut that now. Cut that because they have 5 point. So 200,000 roughly. That would be like to our 200,000. Is that what you're saying? No, 20,000.
No, only there's 233.
I'm getting all mixed up. No, that'd be like us losing 20,000 people. Is what I'm saying. If you did the per capita changes, the ratio is the same as them having 20,000 people die a year in 2016. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because we have it at 63,000, so we're a little bit more, but we're known to be bigger consumers.
Oh, yeah.
We're known to be a bigger drug
We're
consumers.
leading the drugs, the obesity. We're leading all that right
Dude,
now.
if we're going to be number one, we're not just number one in we don't just have nuclear
America.
weapons.
America, baby.
Yeah, we just don't have the best, everything else probably.
Well, I think the reason why I found this.
What do we say? We got the best of everything. We might as well have the best drug problem, right? Horrible.
America. No, the reason why I found it interesting, though, was just because that's yet another country. It seems to be a trend at the moment that I saw anyways, was Portugal started it out, that I'm aware of anyways, with the decriminalization. And by all accounts, if you look at it from an objective perspective, it seems like it's successful.
Right.
It seems, I see more good than
I love the
do
idea.
bad.
I love the idea.
And then even here in the States, we have a couple places doing some of that stuff. I know Seattle, oh, God, I can't remember the name of it, but Allison's always mentioning it. There's like a sheriff's department or something up in Seattle that they're giving beds out and things of that nature. Like the Red Angels or something. I can't remember what it's called. But so there's segments of our population even, and we're getting ready to, there's another story we had that's happened in San Francisco where we're starting to lean more towards the treatment, more towards the compassionate perspective as opposed to just lock them up, losers.
Right.
But even our law enforcement is no longer...
Yeah, they've admitted they can't arrest their way out of it.
Right.
And so here's yet another country that countrywide, it seems like they're going to go ahead and say, all right, we're going to decriminalize it.
So I guess this is akin to maybe a state saying it's not... We're going to decriminalize it.
Yeah, because they do belong to the European Union, so it's not like the entire EU is saying let's
exactly.
decriminalize drugs.
That's a very good point. So it's like a state saying that, and that would be interesting. I think if we would do that model, that'd be great. Because now you take that model and go, all right, what did we do that was similar? Well, we did decriminalize certain drugs, right, like marijuana in certain states, and we're looking at how much that battle has been. Because some people will say, oh, it's been good in this direction. And then other people will say, yeah, but look at this.
Right.
We're still having some serious problems and decay. And so if this is happening, this is showing that, first of all, I think it's too soon to tell. It's one of these issues that I think is too soon. It's too new. And when something is so new, everybody jumped on board. Yeah. And then you get a certain population, everybody, flies there like they did in the old West days, Trinity, when they all got
gold.
Yeah, it was like a gold rush.
In these here
so there was a green rush, and everybody jumped to these states that legalized marijuana, and I think
still are.
That helped pollute it a little bit. Yeah. So I think our numbers are a little off. However, there is a reality there that we can't argue that has it really decreased death in those states, the opioid deaths?
And the answer is yes.
And I think the answer has been yes. And so I think we need to look at that and go, okay, well, that's not saying pot has cured the opioid problem, because I think that's pretty ridiculous to say. They're just a little distracted.
Yeah, to a degree, it has deterred the use of going and getting prescriptions for opioids.
I think it's what it has is those younger users that go right to opioids. They have a different alternative to stay in this pocket a little bit longer.
Yeah,
that's all. Like I said, it's too soon. I think that it has a tendency. Number one, the purest of marijuana are there. The purists. Yeah. In other words, so they're probably not going to use opiates no matter what, because they're purists.
Right.
They're like marijuana only, THC only kind of people. Matter of fact, they're probably not even going to do the synthetic stuff. They're probably just going to stay right with the THC because they're purists in that. And those are the ones that tend to go on this gold rush or green rush, whatever we want to call it. However, so here this country does it, Norway, right?
Well, they're doing it.
or doing it.
They haven't done it quite
What
yet.
has been the results so far, or what are the reports, the initial reports so far?
It hasn't been passed yet.
Right.
They're in the act of doing
Right.
it, so I don't think there's really
Because our infrastructure and their infrastructure is a huge difference.
Well, what it allows for, essentially, from what I remember from hearing the story, is it's just it allows more options and more money to flow through it.
I like the treatment options.
Yeah, you're not putting the money straight into the prison systems, right? And it doesn't. And decriminalization doesn't mean all right, you can go buy heroin at a drugstore. It just means that if you're in possession of heroin,
correct,
you're not going to get arrested for it.
Well,
Craig, talk a little bit more about that, because I think there's a big difference between decriminalization and legalization. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and I think the prime minister or the parliament spokesperson said that it doesn't mean we're legalizing marijuana and other drugs.
Right.
It just means that we're not going to be putting the money that we have in the past towards the arrests for possession,
or penalize them for multiple years of prison.
Exactly.
Right, which I love. I think drug offenses should strictly be in some sort of drug court type system, which we have been getting better at that.
Well, there was another example I saw in there. I don't know if you can see it. I don't remember enough of it to speak super intelligently on it at the moment, so maybe you can find it as I'm talking. But one of the things I saw was using prescription heroin for heroin users, essentially. I guess in a way of
Isn't that what OxyContin is and
basically
oxycodone?
Exactly. But
methadone.
But instead of prescribing under the guise of pain treatment, they went straight kind of like methadone almost. They like, hey, you got this issue. Let's kind of give you a different.
But
dose
that's still a harm reduction model. Right?
Exactly. I think that's the course of action they were taking.
Yeah. Because I mean, you're not going to get prescribed enough heroin to overdose.
Yeah.
You would hope.
But
but can I have yours?
My point is,
really,
what I find interesting about it is the discussion of finding alternatives to just locking them up and calling them bad people is underway. And it seems like more and more people are starting to catch on to that idea, which I'm personally thankful for. I think that's a good idea, because we've tried the drug war, we've tried arresting our way, it doesn't work. So I think it's time for us to start looking at different options, and it seems like more and more people are doing that.
Yeah, and instead of arrests, it says that users are caught with small quantities of drugs would be placed, instead of prisons, into treatment programs. So,
I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're going anyway. To be honest with you, people, I think that's kind of where we're going anyway. We're probably not going to make this big old massive push to call it decriminalization. But if you talk to local law enforcement and you look at the drug court system, how we have it, that is what's happening here. In other words, if you get a drug offense here in the United States, and it's your first time offense,
there's a lot of diversion programs.
If it's a misdemeanor, there's a lot of diversion programs, and we do that exact deal, that if you go through the drug court system, then it's going to be knocked off your record. Yeah. So with compliance into a treatment system, typically that you're going to get the same result as what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, and just briefly about the marijuana thing, what I always find interesting, I mean, it's on but off topic, I guess.
Right.
I was watching a show one time, it was like a documentary, it must have been Real Sports or something, where they're discussing, the NFL is having to start to look at changing their policy on marijuana usage. Up to this point, it's been kind of zero tolerance, you get caught with it. But because some of these places are starting to legalize it and for even recreational purposes, they're having to kind of rethink it a little bit. And the reason why I found it interesting is because they interviewed a couple of the ex-players who are using it now for some of the aches and pains and bumps and bruises that they've gotten. And they brought up a very interesting point that I didn't think of prior to listening to him speak, and it was, why is it that I don't get a choice? As a NFL player and I'm hurting, why is it you're telling me I have to take this opiate, which has been proven to have tons of problems that come along with it, be it addiction issues, death, overdose, things of that nature, and you tell me I have to use this, which by all accounts is essentially a poison that I'm putting in myself.
For sure.
But you're telling me I can't choose to use this particular thing that hasn't killed anybody that I'm aware of.
For sure.
Doesn't come with all of the same risk. It has a risk, of course, but but by all accounts, if you're doing harm reduction, if I had to choose one, I'm taking the marijuana.
100%.
I would much rather take that than the other one.
100%.
But you're not even giving them the choice. So I just found out very interesting that they're basically regulating their choices down to something that they know is harmful.
I think that's a very powerful argument, Trinity. I think that taking that stance like that is a very powerful deal.
Yeah.
Rather than just saying I'm old enough to make my own choice. I think when you compare that, these people are subject to a lot of harmful chemicals. To be in compliance with their team doctor.
Oh, they'll shoot them up
whether
with
it be a
cortisone
steroids, whether it be a steroid, whether it be a legal steroid, or whether it be a legal medication. I think you should have that choice to have some alternative medications. And then the other argument would also be then that if if your concern is that I'm doing something that's performance enhancing, are you then saying that marijuana is a performing enhancing drug? Because to my knowledge,
I've never seen anybody.
I can't imagine.
Go out and run right
I can't
afterwards.
imagine a professional making the argument that marijuana enhances the performance. Yeah. So if your concern is that I'm going to be faster, stronger, or I'm going to have some sort of edge over my opponent because I'm on CBD oil or on marijuana, well then, go ahead and make the argument because you're going to accidentally paint yourself in a corner that you're going to want to back out of when we start talking about teenagers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're definitely not going to say it's a performing enhancing drug.
No.
You know, even if you yourself feels like you perform better with it.
Sure. Although, and that's the argument I hear all the time. I drive better when I'm hot. Okay.
Well, I drove better drunk. And, how'd that work out?
Sure. What's the next one, man?
The next one, you kind of segued into it earlier. Let's talk about San Francisco and the safe injection sites.
They're always in the news. San Francisco likes to be relevant every decade.
That's like Gavin Newsom,
every 20 years.
Gavin Newsom, I'm telling you.
That's a
was
player.
No. Gavin Newsom was the mayor of San Francisco.
Mayor.
So go ahead. So basically, people in these facilities are going to be.
Terry Newsom.
Yeah.
What am I thinking? Terry Newsom?
They can
think of another Newsom.
They can buy their drugs and they take them to this place. In these examples, heroin, fentanyl, and then there's trained staff there that make sure that they don't overdose. I guess if they go into the room or they have like these curtains, if they go in there for too long, then the professionals know how to. They're gonna have the antagonists on reversed.
So what is the actual law, or what is the rule?
That
is it just in San Francisco, the city of San Francisco?
You can go in this place and do drugs without being arrested.
Well, I know that
all drugs or
heroin, fentanyl.
Fentanyl, you can.
Wow.
Yep.
Interesting. I didn't read the whole.
Well, they're pushing that envelope.
But I do know that I found that interesting because Norway is already doing that. Like they already have injection sites where people are allowed to go. And she said that they've had, I don't know, she rattled off a number of how many overdoses they've had there, but nobody's ever died. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was interesting because the harm reduction basically.
Well, I mean, you have the Narcan type of things, FZO right there on premises, right?
But the way they, I guess, justified it was, number one, they overdose, but they don't die. Number two, it introduces them into the healthcare.
It's just a horrible statement.
Yeah.
They overdose, but they don't die. Wait a minute. So they
overdose
because they may already have something in their system before you helped me inject, before you helped me do my drugs. How did I overdose? At a safe injections place.
Just taking too much. I mean, you're not.
I know, but you're doing it.
You're not
with me.
No,
well, I don't think they're doing it.
You're not monitored.
They're just providing a safe place.
While you're putting it in your spoon or doing whatever. You're monitored throughout the process.
Yeah, they're not participating in the process. They're just.
So someone's not injecting you. You're doing it yourself all by yourself.
You're just giving you a safe place to do it, to where I'm going to make sure you don't die afterwards.
Yep.
But the way Norway explained it, which I kind of like the idea of, and I think I've heard it before, and that is that for some of these people, it's their first introduction to the healthcare world.
Right.
Your first meeting a healthcare professional that can say, hey, there's another way. There's treatment facilities there who can kind of, And
you're getting your pink star.
Your what?
Well, like in the Nazi days. You're getting your pink star. We know who you are. You're marked, right? You're tagged.
Wasn't it a yellow star?
Whatever it was. You're tagged.
Yeah.
It probably was yellow. But you're tagged.
Sure.
Right? Like you get a shark out of the ocean, you tag it and you let it go. I mean, if you go into one of these sites, I'm assuming you give a name, right?
I have no clue.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But I just know that I'm not sure if I agree or disagree, but I understand the premise.
What is the goal here? What is the goal?
The goal,
to not die.
Yeah, financially, the goal is they say $3.5 million a year is going to be saved throughout overdose-related medical costs.
Okay.
Don't get it, but okay.
Okay.
And they also say that HIV and viral hepatitis is going to be decreased because I guess
safe needles.
Yeah,
are they going to provide needles? And is that what you're saying?
I think so.
I mean, because if they're doing everything on their own, they still can bring in a dirty needle.
Well, I think once again, I saw the Norway.
It must be a needle exchange program as well, in conjunction with a needle exchange program.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, and then what else? I mean, that's important.
Yeah, I mean, it's also notable that it's the first one in the United States.
So here's my question.
I believe New York is.
So you said Norway did this. How long ago did Norway do this?
They've already got it.
I know. How long ago did they do this?
I don't know.
And yet they still went further.
Yeah.
Vancouver.
I think
what year did they do it? Because you said they had 200-something deaths in 2016. So how many deaths did they have before they instituted this
you got me on that
deal?
one.
Like, did it go down? Like, did that help their deaths?
I don't know. Robbie, you got an answer to that?
I don't have the specific Norway.
Our information is incomplete, kids.
No, I don't have the information on Norway, but I guess there are 100 peer-reviewed studies, so reputable studies, on safe injection sites known as supervised consumption facilities, and
consumption facility.
Yeah, they have consistently shown them to
name.
be effective at reducing overdose deaths, not necessarily overdose.
In a certain population, certain area, is what you're saying.
Yeah, wherever they are, like Vancouver's the largest one in North America.
Do they give you numbers? I mean, are we talking about a 3% difference, or are we talking about a 30% difference?
I could find that and come back to it.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to dig a little deeper in this before I give my full opinion, because I'm a numbers guy.
Yeah.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I want to know if, are we talking about a 1% change? Are we talking about a 30% change? I want to know how it affects did any uses of anything else go up or down? Did any death of anything else go up or down? Here's the problem with death. The problem with death is whatever the coroner says they died of, that's what supposedly they died of.
Right.
I take issue with that.
You died of a heart attack, but you had a pound of coke in you.
My point.
That's why you
That's
died.
my point.
Yeah.
I take issue with because Trinity, I think you just hit it on the head, right? We can call it whatever.
Sure.
And who's going to argue? In other words, I don't see a lot of disputes. I haven't heard of a lot of disputes with coroner reports
Right.
that have been made public. Can you think of one report, a coroner report that's been made so public that it was actually overturned?
Overturned? No. No, I've never heard one.
And yet, if you watch the ID channel at all, in these shows, you constantly hear of things. I mean, we'll take the Corey Haim thing, for instance, right? There's a lot of discussion and talk about how Corey Haim died. It was first reported that he died of overdoses, then later it was like, well, he didn't die from that, he died from pneumonia. Yet, he did have, these things in his system, but this is not what he died of. Mm-hmm. But it's like, well, so now we're having to take a coroner's report and kind of figure that out. However, it's a lifestyle. Addiction is a lifestyle, kids. Yep. The disease of addiction, it's not about, hey, don't do drugs because you're going to die of drugs. This is a lifestyle of risk. Yeah. It's a lifestyle of attitude. It's a lifestyle of risky behavior that just puts you in a lot of situations.
Remember the top 10 things of death? Like the
right.
top 8 out of the 10
We're
are all addictive behaviors.
Addiction related.
Yeah. Yep. Somehow, some way. But they weren't immediately addiction related because you weren't snorting, smoking, or injecting.
Correct.
But it was eating, it was lack of exercise.
Correct.
It was all behavioral related.
Correct.
8 of the top 10 lists, I think it was, of the top deaths.
Correct. And so that's my point, Trinity. My point is that with these numbers, I mean, we can look after research after research after research, but I don't know how these other countries gather their research. Right. I don't know how their coroners report what they report. Sure. We know nothing about the reporting prior, and we don't know if anything changed in the reporting afterwards. Well, here's what we do know. That if somebody goes to one of these safe injection sites or safe drug using sites, how did you call it? You had a cool name for it.
Supervised consumption site.
That's crazy.
We know if they die while they're consuming, number one, the place knows darn well it was either substance related or they don't want to be told that it was. Right?
Somebody didn't do their job if they died at one of those places.
Yeah.
So we're going to know a little bit more about that particular individual than we're going to know about an individual you find on the corner. But if you find an individual in a corner that has a needle in their arm and they're dead, the likelihood of anyone arguing that it was drug-related is nil.
Right.
When in reality, it could have been something else.
Well,
right?
Sure.
Because if it was a politician or somebody that the family said, hey,
spin, baby.
That's not what it needs to be.
It was stung by a bee.
I mean, how many times have we heard someone...
Anaphylactic shock.
Exactly.
Yeah. How many times have we heard somebody go to a hospital due to exhaustion? The concert tour has been canceled due to exhaustion issues. How many times have we heard that?
Yeah, he was exhausted because his coke couldn't find it that night.
How many times have we heard of a tour being canceled because of a drug use?
Yeah, never. Well, unless they died, and then it's like, well, he's canceled permanently.
Michael Jackson's last tour. I mean, yeah.
When they die.
Yeah.
Oh, did I just knock the
Earthquake, we're all going to die.
I just knocked the camera. But, I mean, the point is that how many times do we hear of that being canceled because the person didn't die of didn't suffer exhaustion, got sick of some other sort, but they have a drug problem that they're needing to go get help for.
Well, and the other thing to add to that is sometimes it's not even a drug problem. The one I find most interesting when they say accidental overdoses.
Right.
We're like, they didn't know.
Well,
really? So you didn't know taking these 8 different things all at once was going to kill you? Really? You didn't know that? It was an accident?
Yeah, purposeful drug overdose is called suicide.
Exactly.
Yeah. And by the way, I think all drug use, we need to start labeling as a variation of suicide. You know, there's a variation of suicide happening because there comes a point where we absolutely know. But the caring kind of goes away. The disease of addiction takes away the care. Like death starts looking like a good alternative to some of the lives of these individuals that are getting high, Trinity.
It's actually funny. Well, not I guess funny. Interesting you should say that. I was talking to somebody one time who is not in the drug field.
Right.
Doesn't really, take them. And we were having a discussion because he found out the field that I'm in, and we were talking.
Right.
And he was telling me he had a buddy of his that was addicted to heroin. And one time he was talking to him, he was like, "Dude, why? Like, why do you use it?" Like, he was trying to understand the mindset and why he would use it.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope I can remember this correctly, but he basically said that it made him not care.
Yeah.
He's like, "Dude, I could be walking down the street barefoot, buck naked, whatever, bruised, broken leg. I just don't care." And that's why he used
Absolutely.
it. Because he wanted that I don't care feeling.
Marijuana taught me the sentence F it.
Yeah.
Right? All right. So maybe it didn't kill me. But it taught me F it to such a degree that everything was F it.
Sure.
Louis, you got to go to school, F it. You got to get up, F it.
Yep.
You got to be on time, F it. You have a responsibility, F it. And it got so addicting that when you learn, and those parents out there, just related to a child that's now learned that all your threats that you're going to do something, you're not really doing it. So you say you're going to restrict them, but you don't really. You say you're going to take something away, but you don't really. That's how it is when you start using drugs. You start using drugs or alcohol or something like that when you're very young, right? And when you use them and you don't die, it just further instills the fact that, well, wait a minute, maybe I'm being lied to. Mm-hmm. Or you use drugs and you didn't just jump to heroin, or you didn't just jump to crack cocaine, or you didn't just take that leap. It further validates something that maybe somebody around you is saying, which is saying it's safe or it's okay, or it's just, look, you laughed, right? Well, that's, it's just for good times, man. Don't believe them, man. They're just lying. They're bullshit. You know what I mean? This is all for fun. It starts making all the people that are really out there to harm you and hurt you, maybe not on purpose, but it makes them more believable. And then it makes the alarmists out there that are saying, if you use this, you're immediately going to die. You use this, you're going to go to the worst case scenario. It makes you look just like that, an alarmist that's unreasonable. You're not being truthful to me. And so it creates a bigger divide.
Well, I think interesting, because you talking about that just reminded me of compassion. Really, to be honest with you, I think what it is.
I'm a very compassionate person,
that's right,
Trinity.
No, the way I relate it to compassion is the sense that I'm just trying to think of the people in my life that I've heard saying those phrases and stuff. Right. And I think what it is they believe what they're saying and they're trying to be helpful.
Right.
But somewhere in there, they lose compassion for the person that is struggling who might make these decisions.
Absolutely.
And understanding that they don't need to be told not to do something. They need to be asked, are you okay?
Right.
They need to feel some sort of a compassion. So, and that's what happens is the person telling you don't do stuff that's going to kill you isn't giving you compassion. They're giving you a directive. They're giving you an order. Right. But the dude who's getting ready to sell you something, he's real compassionate. Right. He's like, hey, man, are you okay? Hey, I got something for you. Let me help you out with that.
Absolutely.
And then they get that compassion, and then they take it.
Brother, there's people that may watch this video or may listen to this broadcast that know darn well that when you went through your life issue and you were struggling and your mom and dad, you couldn't go to your mom and dad to ask them for that money that you borrowed from me or for that little help that you asked for me, and I gave it to you, right? That abortion that you probably nobody knows you had, and maybe you had a couple of them. Who gave you the money for that? See, it's things like that, Trinity, that I don't like that I was there. When I look back and go, man, I've been a party to a lot of negative things that voluntarily at this age I wouldn't want to be a part of.
Sure.
But at that age, when, I'm a different individual in the world, right? And these people are struggling with these life issues, they didn't go to mom and dad and ask for that loan.
No.
And what put you in that situation? Bad decisions, bad events, bad friends around you. You can use the word bad. I don't. I was just the wrong friend for you to have at that moment.
Right.
I just had too much in my access. So when you were around me, of course, if I'm drinking, you're going to be drinking. I was getting high, so you started getting high. I'm using cocaine, so you started using cocaine. I'm dealing it, I'm making it look fun and enjoyable. So what did you start to do? You started dealing and doing that. I'm having, sexual that looked really fun, so you started doing it. But look what happened.
You're still doing that, by the way. You're in a NASCAR now. I'm going to NASCAR events.
Oh, brother, don't ever say a sentence like that I'm still doing it after I say I'm having sexual relations with a bunch of different people, because now you made it sound like I'm doing something wrong, Trinity.
Dana,
you need to look in that camera right there.
I assure you, he is a great man. Would never do anything. He loves you way too much.
You
Is
see
that sweat on your brow?
Did you see that face of shock I had on my face when that man said that? Robbie?
Yeah, I thought the same thing, like coming right after that. I was like,
That was the timing is everything, right, Robbie?
right.
yep.
I was like, damn, Trini, you've been around me, Trini. You know I walk that line. As soon as someone even says sex, I'm like, whoop,
Hey,
out the
I
other
had to
door.
pay it forward. He got me with the AIDS comment earlier, so I got to pay it forward.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, but why to me?
Hey,
pay forward, not backwards.
Exactly.
I got you. All right. Well, the point is that, number one, access is everything, right?
Yes.
But bigger than that is, and this shooting that just happened here in Florida, God, so many things happen in Florida, but this happen everywhere. These shootings that happen and stuff like that, and I know you're going to cover it more, so I'm not going to jump on, on what you're going to cover or anything like that. What I'm going to cover is different. And what I'm saying is that there's so much happening that we're not listening to some of the signs beforehand. We're a very reactionary society, but Trinity and I do agree on a lot of things. And Robbie, I don't know where you feel on this, but I'm going to guess that you do as well. So when people talk to me about, the drug problem in America, I like to akin it like we have an emotional 101 class that's missing in our school system. We have the class on how to deal with being short, fat, dumb, too smart, skinny, too black, too white, too redheaded, too pimple faced, whatever the crap that's in your head that you like, you start crying about because you become a target for bullies. And then we start targeting bullies like that's okay. And apparently now that it's okay to target bullies. Well, you know what? Someone's bullying that bully too. And what I'm saying is that we have lost, well, no, not lost. We've never had an Emotions 101 class on just how to deal with just being human. There's no notebook or pamphlet that we go by. What we do is we have these two individuals that are called our parents. And some of us don't even have that. And they got their own crap going on. And those of you that are parents, you know darn well, typically when you have kids, you're in the building part of your life where you're kind of like running on all cylinders too. And so you're so busy in your own stuff that next thing you do, you turn around and they're older. And it's like, did I miss that opportunity to kind of insert what the Freudians and the Ericksonians and the Rogerians say? That's where I should have instilled some sort of problem-solving technique and ability, and their hierarchy of needs now are all kind of flipped because their hierarchy of needs are saying, I just need to make money. So did I miss my opportunity to teach them compassion, Trinity? Did I miss an opportunity? We got so stuck on the issues of the day, which interest us, we forget that what interests us today is different than that 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 9-year-old. What interests them at that moment is how do I get that damn piece of candy that they're telling me I can't have? Because apparently if I eat that candy, I'm not going to have dinner. But what they don't know is how many times I've snuck that candy and still was hungry enough to dinner. So how does that make sense? That's the problem.
Wait a minute. You telling me my kids are sneaking candy?
I'm telling you.
We're going to talk about this when I get home.
I'm telling you. That we have to stop being alarmist in all areas.
Yeah.
We hesitate to just speak very, very truthful. Like my wife even struggles with this, to be honest with you guys, because she tends to believe that when I talk about drugs with the kids, that sometimes I make it sound too good, all because I say you're going to love it, so don't do it. I'm asking you not to do it because you're going to love it. Like that's wrong. I'm supposed to tell them that if they use it, they're going to destroy their lives. I go, no. See, they've been around me with enough phone calls. They've seen enough people that I help that they've seen the destruction. Mm-hmm. Everybody talks about the destruction. Here's what they don't get told. That it's that friggin' good. That's why there's destruction. Yeah. You think people want to leave their kids in the car? You really think that somebody that had a precious little baby like you wanted to leave the kid in the car and then go get sexually abused and beat up by some dope man? You think that was a choice that person? No. It's that freaking good. That's why you don't do it. Yeah. Because you just may love this crap. Yep. And if you love it, you're going to do it regardless of your responsibility. You're going to do it regardless of who you're supposed to be. You have this name, so you're not supposed to. Your dad is this, so you're not supposed to. You have this much time clean, so you're not supposed to. You live here in this city, so you're not supposed to. There's a lot of reasons why you're not supposed to. Let me tell you something. Once this thing grabs you, it's like you got to go find another group of people that are willing to grab you in another way and somehow make life look a hell of a lot more meaningful, and it better feel a hell of a lot more meaningful really quick. Right. Really quick. And that's what we're fighting. So whether it's a safe injection site, and we'll kind of close up these two like this, whether it's a safe injection site, whether it's a safe drug using site, whether it's decriminalization. For me, I don't like getting involved in that stuff other than say, do it, man. Do whatever you think is going to help, let's do it, because we know what we're doing right now isn't working. Exactly. So instead of arguing the fact that, well, that just sounds ridiculous, so let's not do it, we have a huge country. We have the ability to do it in one section of an area and let people make a choice. Give people that choice.
Exactly.
Because we don't know. And stop pretending that you guys know, because we don't. We can say, well, it's Norway. We could say these countries, they don't have the same. And I can make those arguments too. But the point is that we're the United States. We should be leading. We should be leading this fight.
What is it? The only bad action is inaction?
Yeah. And here's the other thing. We're not really being inactive. We do have a drug court system. And what I would like to do is I would like to see the comparison, Robbie, between that system that Norway just did and our drug court system, because I would guarantee you that in some areas with some great friggin' judges and great police forces, that it's very similar to the drug court system in certain counties. I'll guarantee it.
Oh, yeah.
Even though we don't call it decriminalization. Even though we're not getting the big hype and saying, hey, the United States has decriminalized. Because let me tell you something. We could say that. In certain counties, we actually have decriminalized drugs. Because we have such a powerful drug court system in those counties. So it will look like decriminalization.
Right on.
You know, but if you're dealing it, that's different. If it's a felony, that's different.
Definitely.
You know, if you gave somebody heroin and they died from the heroin you just gave them or fentanyl you just gave them, it's different. But if your county has a drug court system and a really good judge and a really good legal system that is doing it like ours right here in Orange County, it is decriminalized. We want you to get help. We want you to live. Let's stop fighting about how it's supposed to look. There's enough fights within the treatment industry about 12 steps, not 12 steps, celebrate recovery, AANA, no meetings. That's too much already. Here's what I know. You pick up the phone and call. Call Journey Pure. Call Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Center. Call us here at the Now Matters More Foundation. Find us. Find the Dharma Guy. Find the Grasshopper Robbie Barrett. Find me, the Dope Doctor. Call us. We will help you, because that's the message. Right, Trini?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's close up. What do you got to say?
Testify, brother. Testify.
You got that right. What do you got to say, Trini?
No, I mean,
close it up.
There's nothing
we got 1 minute.
Other than amen. You know,
can you sing it, though?
No. It's a problem. And there you go. Nice.
There you go.
No, it's a problem, man. We got to find a solution. Right. Period. I mean, we can sit here all day long and kick rocks, man, but somebody's got to fix it. So
Right on.
I think that's all I got.
Golf tournament, March 19th. Do you know when that is, Robbie?
March 19th.
That's right.
It's right after March 18th.
NowGolfTournament.org. Go there. Sign up for the golf tournament. There's one foursome left.
Nice.
2 holes left.
Nice.
And then it's sold out. So let's go. Trinity, you and I got to go see Strawberry, man.
Yes, we do.
We got to go help him open up this hospital. Then neither one of us knew the name of it. So what good friends we are. Right? We were supposed to know that, Trini.
We are.
We're supposed to know the name of that hospital. But anyway, it's an Oglethorpe property, and we'll go do that. So from all of us here, wait, I didn't even get set up, Trini. I got to set up.
Oh,
so
my gosh.
say something while I set this up.
Something.
That's all you had to say, Trini. All right. Adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye.
And that was without even a single drop of rum.